Sit down.
And we're recording. Good. Okay, we're live. So welcome to tonight's team call. This was a joint effort with Janice and I, and our team's coming together. We attended Summit and in Indianapolis, and we were really all in agreement on a lot of things that just resonated with us and kind of caused those, when people say the aha moments, like that was an aha moment for me or whatever, but we all walked away kind of saying that certain things definitely impacted us, either personally or also like little tips, things that we could bring back to implement within our teams as leaders, or but also just in how we we're going to be moving forward with either organizing our business, organizing our challenge groups, organize how we were communicating, the ways that we were communicating with our potential clients and then our current clients. And so lots of nuggets, and we just wanted to make sure that we came back and poured out what we could for, I mean, everything's always better, the live version, of course, and nothing can replace the energy of being surrounded by 20,000 other coaches, and that's irreplaceable. But and I believe that that's a major reason why we do team calls, is so that we're constantly kind of in that energy over and over and over again, as often as possible, to remind ourselves that we're not in it by ourselves. We're not in it alone, because sometimes we get in the monotonous, like, routine of the everyday, and there are days where you kind of feel discouraged in yourself, or you feel like you're alone and you're in it alone, or am I the only one going through this? And it's so good to know that you're connected to a team of other women who know you, understand you, probably have a good sense of what your brand is and what you're about and the way that you want to run your business and the type of people that you want to serve and serve well. They know your heart, and to be able to reach out to them and be like, okay, am I crazy? Or, and then they are able to encourage you back. So we're hoping that by us sharing with you the things that we picked up at Summit, some of them you may have heard before, but maybe, and some of it we heard before, but hearing it again and maybe hearing it in a fresh way or from a different speaker sometimes is and also just being in a different season of life now than maybe our last Summit experience.
Right.
Or when we first signed up as a coach, But I thought that it was also super, you went away, Jacqueline. I thought also it was super, not refreshing. What was the word? Because I was going to tell Jacqueline, I bet you she's like checking notifications or something. But I thought it was refreshing. It was exciting to see new coaches there, like some of the, like Caroline and Tina and them coming and experiencing Summit for the first time, and just being able to hug you all. No, y'all know that not everyone was able to be there, but like being able to hug Lori and talk to her face to face, it was like, oh yay, and those kind of moments are always super exciting. So I'm gonna start to share first, just so that, because I'm already talking, and to give Caroline another minute to kind of make sure that she's ready, unless she wants to jump right out the gun, because you know exactly what you want to say.
Yeah, I didn't
hurry up and get it out before the notes take over.
But yeah, well, okay, let me just go ahead and get this over with.
Go ahead.
It's wonderful. Go. It's wonderful, for sure. Well, first of all, it was by surprise that I was going to go to Summit. So it was a big, exciting surprise. I decided to go like less than a week before we went to Summit. So I had like all of the stress. Was just getting back in town. I had like a day and a half to get ready to go back out again. And so there were just a lot of emotions going on in my head when we reached Summit, but it was so exciting. And of course, being with Angel, she is just a spark of life. So, I mean, that was in and of itself, just going anywhere to hanging out with Angel, that would have been fun. But at Summit, oh my gosh. So when we get there, well, first of all, you hear people talking on the plane. I mean, just from the time we're at the airport, you see all these women. I'm like, are these women going to Summit? Oh my gosh, they are. I hear them talking. And then on our layover, there's more people. And so the excitement just built so much. And arriving at the airport, we see this big sign, welcome, you belong here. Hashtag you belong here. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is way more huge than I thought it was going to be. And we get there, and just the excitement of all of these people empowering each other that are like-minded people that want not only to be healthy and fit themselves, but they want to help others be healthy and fit. I was just astounded. And so that was exciting in and of itself, being able to work out with Michelle Park and start the whole summit off on the right foot, doing PiYo, which is my second love. And then the excitement of being at the teammate party later that day, meeting so many people that I've seen on Facebook. I mean, you see so many people on Facebook like, oh, I know her, I know him, I know her, but you've never actually met them. So it was cool to finally meet a lot of them. I got to finally meet Melissa, get my picture taken with her. I thought that was pretty cool. And then to meet the people on our team and this group, Lori and Tina, who we've been talking to for, been working with on Facebook, through Facebook and everything, and Janice. And then I met Melissa, and
Melissa Marks. I just want to make sure you say Melissa Marks.
Yeah.
Not everybody thinks Melissa McAllister or something.
Melissa Marks and Melissa McAllister. And I kept on interchanging them, not meaning to, but Melissa Marks. So I met Melissa McAllister, big grandmama, and Melissa Marks. And she is like tiny like I am. So
y'all clicked like almost right away.
We did. There was something that clicked, and it was amazing because she is just like a powerhouse, just mentally. She's very serious, but she's a powerhouse. But then she's I know that she's kind of like a teddy bear at the same time. You know what I mean? But anyway, so it's cool to meet women that were just very strong-minded, because I'm just the warm fuzzy kind, and I'm not like super serious. So it was cool to meet people like that, and super smart women, and that know what they want to do, how they want to do it, but yet they're still open for all of the information that they were going to be learning.
So what was your top, what was the number one thing
that
you feel like you came home with that?
Because I can ramble. All right. So one of the main things was going to the workshops. I felt like they were talking to me. All of the different speakers were talking to me, because I was not organized. I have not been organized. I really didn't. I mean, in my head, I'm like, I want to be a coach. And I know that, Angel, you've encouraged me and shared with me all of the different things that I need to do. But did I do those things leading up to this point? No, I did not. I'll be honest. No, I did not. So it is very overwhelming going to Summit and not having done pretty much any of that stuff. I did make one sale prior to going to Summit, so at least I did one thing. But
just by sharing.
What's that? Just by sharing.
Just by sharing. But you did do something. You took
something. Yes.
Sample post and you did it.
All about the coach's back office and all of the resources. That was a huge takeaway. The activity tracker. Oh, wow, the activity tracker. If I was using the activity tracker from day one, man, I would probably be a little bit further along, but that's okay. It's never too late. That is huge. And just the encouragement night, because a lot of times we doubt ourselves, and that encouragement that, oh, it's okay if you doubt yourself. It's okay. But those excuses in your head are just excuses. We are all capable of doing this. And that's the big takeaway that I got. I'm going to get teary. But that's the big takeaway I got is I can do it. seriously, I'm getting teary. But seriously, that's probably my biggest thing.
So what were some of the excuses that you felt like was holding you back from believing
Time. And I still feel time is challenging for me. So I talked to Melissa Marks and I was explaining to her my excuses, not realizing that I'm saying like these are excuses. I'm a teacher and I teach fitness classes, right? I teach up until like 4:30. Then I drive to my classes that I teach Monday through Thursday. And then I come home and like, how am I going to have time to be able to answer emails or to make posts? And what do I post anyway? I'm like, who me? And who's going to listen to me? Why me? Why would they listen to me? So all of these things I was saying to her, and she's like, okay, well, I work. I teach fitness classes. I'm like, okay, well, so when do you find time? She said, I power block in the morning. I know I designated time. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to check my emails, answer emails, maybe make a post or whatever. During the day, I'm busy during work. This is what she said. During the day, I'm busy during work. I might check something or do something during my lunchtime. And then I go and teach my classes. And then in the evening, I'll, designate an hour's time to doing whatever I need to do. And she checks off her activity tracker and she'll score herself. Today I was a 6 out of 10. I scored a 6 out of 10 or 7 out of 10. It's okay. I'm not going to be down on myself. The next day, I'm going to do better, and just vow to yourself, you're going to do better. Life gets in the way. You're not perfect. You're not going to be able to check the list off 10 things every single day. And that's where I was just feeling like that pressure that I needed to be perfect. And I'm far from perfect. And I realized that it's okay. Yeah, pretty much. Anything else?
I don't know. Is there anything else? So maybe like if that was your big.
That was big.
Is there like 2 or 3 that was just like, okay, this is something I didn't know, or this is something that, I heard it and I was like, oh yeah, I want to start doing that, or just little smaller things.
Media posts, just like the posts on social media, because I don't really know what to post, and it takes me forever to decide what to say, what kind of a picture to post. I'm not as tech savvy, Jacqueline, or anybody else. I'm not as tech savvy as I'd like to be. So it does take me a long time to make posts. And a lot of times you might think of things during the day, or you might see something that somebody else posts. And that's something also that Angel had shared with me. Just like copy and paste it, put it in your notes, or a thought that you might have, put it in your notes and save it. And then when you're ready to post, then you already have it in your notes. You can copy and paste and put it in there. That saves so much time instead of just coming up with it right then.
Yeah.
Or saving pictures even.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, and just putting it in your notes and putting it like in a folder,
Yeah.
And that was something that I heard other people sharing. Yeah, that's another.
So that was actually something that, one, I love what Melissa told you and about Melissa Marks told you about the power blocks. And I know you and I have talked about that before, but that was something that I remember first seeing Melanie Mitro do. Melanie Mitro was top coach for 4 years in a row before Ashley Molstad claimed the spot this year. So I know that you wouldn't know that because this is your first year to be coach. So just letting you know who Melanie Mitro is. And so I remember looking at how she would block her time and she would color code it. And remember when you were instructor, when we were talking about your calendar as an instructor now and blocking those times, like color coding, she did the same thing for her coach activities. So she would say, okay, I'm going to block off this 30 minutes and that's going to be for me posting to social media. And then on Wednesday, I'm going to block off this 2 hours, and that's going to be for me watching a training, taking notes, making a blog post, whatever. Like, so I was like, yeah, I like that, because I can't always squeeze it all in every day. But if I can choose the blocks of time in the day that I'm going to get stuff done, and even if it doesn't have it labeled, if I know like green means those are my times that I'm inviting and following up and answering messages, right? And then like blue is my time that I'm making a social media post, maybe crafting an email or a blog post, like, so color coding. But the other thing that I remember learning from Chip Hoffa, who, Chip Hoffa from TurboKick, but he did a social media training for Michelle Park in the project one time. And he was talking about when you, about honoring your most creative times of the day. Like, so honoring your energy time, like the times of the day that you have the mental capacity, or you notice these are the times of the day that I'm most often getting my ideas for what I want to post, or something great I want to talk about on social media, or some kind of idea that I think would be great to talk about in a live video or whatever. He's like, honor those times and try to purposely schedule those activities in those pockets of the day that you usually have that creative juice going. So if you're a morning person, like, intentionally try to do the work for social media posting during that time, or like that you would be writing it out, the ideas, is at your most creative time of day, instead of trying to force it to happen in the driest part of your day when you have no creative juice whatsoever. And I think that that's what sometimes we do. We're like, okay, it's 8:00 at night, and now I didn't do, now I'm going to sit down and try to tell myself what I'm going to post, because I didn't post anything all day, and I don't want to go to bed without posting something. So, but then now we're mentally drained. Now we're tired. Like, and so nothing comes, and we go, what am I going to post about? And we get frustrated, and then we say, never mind, and we don't post. So that was something that was really helpful. Now I wanted to ask everybody, do you use the most recent Success Club, this business activity tracker, or do you use one from somewhere else, or another year, or that another coach like created? Because I've used several, so there's no wrong answer.
I'm just going to be real with you. I don't do any of that. I just do like the discount.
What do you mean you just do the discount?
So I just do everything. So I get like early access and my shake and all of that stuff.
Okay. So are you wanting to start inviting, or what is your intention with coaching moving forward? Are you here tonight because you want, and you're going to Summit next year because you want to learn more about the business side?
Well, I mean, I'm always curious about it. I don't know that I'll ever actually do it.
But
I think the part I'm most excited for at Summit is actually like physically meeting people that we out with, and like seeing you in person. But I mean, I'm always open for like learning new things. So when I would actually be able to do it, I mean, I know everyone always says, oh, life is crazy, but like sometimes, I mean, it's like picking my husband off the floor. Like, it's just, you never know what a day will come
right
to my house. So it's just like, I don't know, like I would only want to pursue that part of it once I know I can actually dedicate time to it. So like, I don't want to halfway do something.
I get it.
I'm right. I get that for sure.
But I was like, oh, I'll throw my 2 cents in, and then I'll.
I'm that personality too. But actually, it's kind of like almost to a fault of mine, because like it's a little bit of a perfectionism kind of thing. I want to do it well, or I won't do it until I can do it well, or I'll pass it to somebody who I know will knock it out the park. so that nobody, not necessarily just because I think everybody will be served better, but because my ego is too big to make myself look like a failure. Does that make sense? And that's like my own like self fault, like my own faults that I've grown aware of, that I've and some, you know, for a while, like, because I did want to be able to start building an income a few years ago. I was being real honest with myself, and I was like, okay, do I just do, you know, I'm going to continue. I believe Beachbody Blue. I believe in the products. I believe in the service and like the mission. I believe in all of it. And I would do it whether or not I made a penny, you know, whether or not I decided to invite anybody and create a team myself. I would do it and continue to be part of the community because I love everything that it's about, and it has helped me legit. And so I would do it either way. But then at the same time, it was just a couple of years ago, somebody was speaking on a team call, and he said, you know, there are coaches who say they want to make money, but 80% of all coaches don't do the one thing, and it's called inviting, and inviting is what creates income. So I was like, dang, I gotta like be real honest with myself right now and figure out why I haven't been doing that. Like, do I want to make an income or do I not? And if I do, like, get over the fears that are getting in my way. And if I don't, then be okay with that and not feel like I have to live up to anybody else's expectations or create excuses as to why I'm not. But I needed to kind of decide like which camp I was going to be in, because that was where I was in that time. And so I think it's important to be able to know and have those moments where, you know, like, okay, where am I and that was something that, not to skip ahead, but that was one of my things that I remember taking away. And it was actually the post-summit event. It wasn't even during summit. It was our post-summit event that we went to, Danielle Natoni and Julie Boris. And it's kind of funny because nobody at that table, Caroline Mucky,
Yes.
Nobody at that table other than you and I were originally registered for that event.
Oh my gosh, really?
Until like 24 hours before, because I knew about it because I signed up for it a couple years, or last year or the year before last, when they held their first one in New Orleans. Mm-hmm. And Donald went to it with me, and we really just did it because Danielle Natoni is local, and at the time she was hosting all of our Super Sundays for us. And I was like, well, I want to show support to Danielle, so I'm going to go and hear, you know, see what she's going to do for post-summit. And hey, who could not want a post-summit strategy for what to do with all this information you get at Summit? So I'm going to go. And it wound up being really cool. So I was like, I'm going to sign up for this one. And I did. And then you already heard Caroline Mucky say, well, she came kind of decided at the last minute, like literally a week before, that she was going to attend with us. So I was like, well, hey, I already have a spare ticket, so you're going to take that ticket and we're going to go. And then I was messaging Melissa Marks like literally the week before, and she was like, when are you leaving? What are your plans? Blah, blah. And I was like, oh, I don't fly out till Sunday night because I'm attending a post-summit training. And she was like, well, what is that? And then so she was like, well, I might go to that too. And then she goes, I just bought my ticket for it. And then we get there, and I tell Lisa Willingham, and I told Janice, and then Lisa told some of her ladies. And so next thing you knew, we had a whole table of us and our people sitting there at the post-summit training. So I thought that was really cool, because that is representative of how our businesses actually grow and how we reach people and how we help them. Is, you know, it's just like one conversation, one seed planted, one opportunity discovered at a time. So Tina, I know that you have been posting, and I know that you've been helping run the challenge group. So just so that I have a better understanding where you are with like where you're wanting to do with coaching currently, and like where you hope to be maybe in like next year summit time.
So currently I'm trying to just put myself out there. I want to create a business and create income because I do know it works. I feel like I have a good gift of encouraging people, and I've already been doing that with different things. Like me and my husband run a married life group, and we help married couples, and we do counseling and stuff like that.
That's awesome. I didn't know that about you.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Every Saturday night.
Awesome.
And so we do that. We do premarital counseling. We're in a premarital counseling right now with a couple that's going to get married in 2 months. So I have that kind of already, that I feel that what I'm supposed to be doing. And then when I started doing this a few months ago, I just felt something tell me, you know what, now you need to start encouraging other women to get in shape. I'm not doing a very good job because I'm not very outgoing as much. And so I have a very hard time. And like Caroline, when you were saying about writing posts, it used to take me like an hour to figure out what to actually say. And I would go back and forth. I would type it out. I don't like this. I don't like that. So I have a very hard time with that. Lately, I've just been typing it, posting it, and not even thinking twice about it. And if it sounds funny, like I don't even care anymore because I just need to get it out there. I need to get out of my comfort zone.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm having a very hard time. And I'm like, I'll constantly tell Janice, like, I just want one. I just want one person that I can help. And I have one person. I made one sale, but she's not doing the program like it's supposed to be done. And so it frustrates me because I'm like, I don't want her to waste the money. And Janice will tell me, you know what? She's got the tools. All you can do is encourage her. And if she doesn't want to follow through, like there's nothing you can do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so but then I have self-doubt. Well, maybe this is not meant for me to do this. Maybe I'm like, I have all these things, and buying my summit ticket, I'm not gonna lie, was very hard. And as soon as I hit purchase, I instantly had a feeling of regret of buying it because I thought, I'm not doing anything. I'm not worthy to be there. I'm like, all this stuff was going through my head. So building a business, yes, I want to do it. Am I in that step? Not really, because I'm not like having anybody. The activity tracker I don't do. I probably need to find where that's at and maybe start doing that. And so I don't know.
I think sometimes you push you that and to do all the stuff.
What'd you say?
I said I feel like Summit will help her with all of that.
Yes. I was just about to pass it right back over to Caroline and just remind you guys, like, Caroline, when did you sign up to be a coach?
Okay. Well, I only signed
Not
up.
like when you signed up for your discount, because you first signed up for your discount. But when did you first say, I need to start coaching?
Well, actually, what was it, just like a month or two ago? Pretty much. It was just like a month or two ago. And in all honesty, y'all, it is more, Angel believed in me more than I believed in myself. Seriously. So I was just going along with it, going, yes, I do want to do that. And I'm thinking in my head, but really until after I got back from Summit, that's when my heart said, oh, that's what it is. Yes, you want to do it, Caroline. Not just your head, but your heart wants to do it too. And I know it's so overwhelming. And we have that negative self-talk. I'm not worthy. I don't think I can do it because, I mean, I felt that way. I still feel that way. But I know that it's going to take time to just make those posts and build that business. And it's planting that seed. A seed is not going to grow overnight. The more you talk to people, the more people see you, just a normal person. They're going to go, wow, she's doing this. She's making this progress. Hey, she can do it. I can do it, sort of thing.
Yeah.
But it's planting those seeds. And the only way that you can plant those seeds is if you just like make those posts, and not just on social media, but talking to people. And Tina, what's awesome for you is that you do encourage people. You have that. People look up to you because you help them in their marriage, or when they're about to get married, or things like that. So you have more than what you think you have to offer. So I think you're at a very great advantage, really.
Thanks.
I really do. I really do.
So when Caroline, when you were just saying that, I was remembering one statement that Josh had made at the post summit thing when he was reminding us of the law of process from that leaders are made one day at a time. We come in and a lot of our, we get fears and we get all these thoughts like why and reasons why we don't feel like we can, or like whether they are emotional reasons, mental reasons, or just thoughts that we have, or very physical reasons like he talked about not having a supportive spouse or having a busy life or already having like a full-time career or whatever, those very physical things that we go, well, I don't know how I'm gonna make this happen and how I'm ever, and he's like one day at a time, because that's the law of process, so but we tend to kind of put the expectations on ourselves that we have to be all ready and have it all together and know all the things before we can effectively do and be. And that's a deception. That's not that's not the truth.
That's true. And I love his analogy because I did listen to his post summit deal.
The recording after we came home?
Yes. And so this is the thing and I'm like, yeah, that is such a great analogy. Okay. So if we look at a tree, this big, beautiful, beautiful tree, we look at when we're looking at a tree, what do we look at? We look at the leaves. It might be flowering and we look at that tree, but we don't look at the roots. Well, how is that tree going to grow? Well, first needs to be planted. The seed needs to be planted, and then it's going to grow its roots. That's where we're supposed to be right now. We can't expect ourselves to be that big, beautiful tree. And that's what I feel like I've been doing is like, I see all these amazing, successful people on social media. I'm like, I see that. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can be that way. But they didn't start like that. They started as like us. We're just little seedlings.
I thought it was really cool how you reminded us too, like this, if you think about it, everything that tree is now, everything that it had to become was at one time all contained within that tiny little bitty seed. Yes. But what was most important was the environment that seed was going to be planted in.
Water it,
watering, and the
dirt. So that's like following up with all of our customers, and
he said like one of the things that determines that environment is your choices to continue to stay plugged in to the people who are most encouraging to you, the people who lift you up, the environment that you feel most challenged to grow. But when you when you take yourself out of those situations, then you're uprooting yourself. Exactly. And you're taking yourself out of the environment where you can become the tree that you want to be. Exactly. And I thought that was like really cool.
Another thing that he said is, well, if you could do it all on your own, why have you not already done it? Kind of thing. Because you need that support and encouragement and community and resources to help you. I mean, I know I do.
Yeah. So I'm going to share my quick tips, but I did want to I'm jotting down a few things like as y'all are all talking to make sure that if that we make follow-up calls, like, cause I know Janice is going to want to know about it and I know we're recording, but also for myself to make sure that in our follow-up call, like the next calls that we host and in the future and everything, or even in between the calls, that we're making sure to get the right resources and in your hands and following up with you to make sure that you had your questions answered or filled in the gaps for you and everything. So number one, yes, the business activity tracker, I know for sure it is in the Team Tenacity hub for you Team Tenacity girls. And so it looks like this, but it's blue and white. And it's the checkbox. So this is like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, because as Beachbody coaches, our week begins on Thursday. And every Thursday is payday, by the way. but it's
yeah, and that was
also,
just, that kind of threw me off, just not gonna lie.
yeah, I know.
Start on Sunday or Monday, but I understand that.
Yeah. So but it keeps it real simple. It literally tells you like update my Facebook story with a daily life and a workout clip, and respond to the likes and comments, so that we don't feel like we're just going by the seat of our pants, like open up Facebook and go, what am I supposed to be doing here again? Like, oh yeah, I need to go over here. Like, no, it's like, okay, I need to respond to all new likes. Okay, let me do that. And I go to the last post that I made and I respond to all my new likes, So you can print this out, or you can just use it as like a PDF kind of guide and check it off as you want. Also with this, it prints out, you have the option of printing out like a contact sheet so that you're able to write down the people that you're actually having conversations with. And like when you contacted them, the notes that you want to put down. So like if you whatever you talked about with them, like what your goals are or whatever, and like a little check box for like to follow up. And if you want to see this in action and people actually using it, then you need to either the next time that Janice or I say that we're going to be doing a power hour together, you can jump in and do one of those power hours with us, because we usually use this or do part of it, because sometimes, like, obviously we're not going to do our Shakeology and workout like as part of our power hour. That's already done. But like we'll focus on a big chunk of it for the business activities that we want to make sure we check off. Or Team Made, so our upline, right? Melissa McAllister's larger. She has it organized in her team page, and I just share it into my team page. But there's dozens, because every single week she has a different coach within Team Made. So one week Janice hosted it not too long ago. And so I know she has that recording that you could use over and over again, or if you want to see how other coaches do it, because each person kind of has their own spin on it sometimes, and their own way of approaching it for what best works for their life. And they don't always sit down and do it all in 1 hour. Sometimes they do like, okay, obviously the workout and the Shakeology is done like within the life, but like maybe this part right here is done in 20 minutes, like they, or it's broken up in 10 and 10, and then this time is done like while the kids are napping, and this is done like right before bed, like, so like they break it up, they get it done based on their own. It's more of like through the day kind of idea. Some people just decide to sit down and get it all done in an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours, whatever, one sitting, and some people choose to break it up because it works better with their daily flow,
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead. You raised your hand a minute ago, Caroline.
Yeah, what I was going to say is that Melissa shared, she had sent me a picture. We started to kind of like send each other our activity tracker first couple of days. And
Good.
She laminated hers.
Yes.
I was like, that teacher in me kind of was like, ooh, that's helpful. We're not wasting paper.
Do a dry erase.
Yes. So it's cool to laminate it. And that way you're not having to, reprint and waste ink and paper.
Yes.
But then you still do have that list of, all the people that you contact and stuff like that. That's important for you to get.
Melissa,
Jacqueline?
Oh, I was just going to say, you can have fun dry erasers too, but that's the admin of me saying.
Yeah.
I've got all sorts of different pens.
Yeah.
MJ, is that Melissa Marks?
Yeah, I'm on.
Go ahead. Say what you're going to say.
I was going to say,
Why don't we see your
Melissa
beautiful
owes
face?
Caroline a couple check-ins. I'm finally back from Rise.
Whoop, whoop.
Yep.
So she,
I want to see your beautiful face.
what was your biggest takeaway? I know we can't see you. Are you on your phone and you have
Yeah,
it
I'm on my
dialed in?
phone.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was your biggest takeaway from Summit?
Wow. I've done so many things in the last 2 weeks.
I know. Just one thing that like jumps out at you, or that you felt you walked away from Summit on, and it was like, the one thing you wanted to make sure you went home and did when it was all over with?
So I really felt like over the last several months, I've been honing in on the why we do what we do. And that's probably because I've been very focused in on, you know, what's the why between like why we do the posts on social media and why we do the certain reach outs. And I think that was my biggest takeaway is hearing, you know, the why and what you ultimately have to do to grow a business versus just, you know, being a hobbyist, I guess. I think that was my biggest takeaway.
So what do you understand now between the difference of what you're saying, a hobby, like a hobby coach or hobbyist, treating it as a hobby versus what's your understanding now?
So that would be, you know, things like, so we go to Summit and we do the quarterly meetings to refill our cup, you know, just like me going to Rise. Like, what does that mean for you refilling your cup and establishing what you need to be fueled to be out there and be that positive person, or be the person that you need to be to grow a business and be an entrepreneur. The, you know, the reaching out with people, and what does that mean? What are you providing? One of the things that I took away from Rachel Hollis's Rise was do the things you're good at and don't try to do all the things. And she was really hitting on, you know, us owning our future and what does that look like. And she had an individual stand up and volunteer who was building a business as well. And she asked her, you know, what are you good at? Social media? Are you good at email? You know, tell me what you're good at. And she said, you know, focus on that one thing and get really good at it. Don't try to do all the things. And I think that was good for me to hear, because I had spent a lot of time the last year or two going, okay, I'm doing all the things. I don't understand the why, and I don't feel like I'm solid or good at all of them. And I think that was nice to finally hear. I think the accountability part, and I've heard it multiple times in various scenarios, the top 5 people that you surround yourself with that's the best you're going to be, unless you up your game. So you should have people in the 5 people you hang out with most that really push you. And if you're not there, you probably need to get there if you really want to be pushed. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I can bring to mind. Those are the top things that are kind of coming off the top of my head.
Well, I love what you just said, because it was actually one of my top things, kind of in line with one of my top things was, and Janice had asked me this earlier in the week. She was like, do you know what you're going to, you know, if you were to just say one thing, do you know what you would say on the team call, when we do the post-summit call? And I was like, yeah, I actually do. And she was like, okay, what was it? And I quickly opened up my notebook from my notes, my post-summit event notes, and said, and it was this one thing that I put in brackets, and it said, what's worth waking up early and doing the hard things for? Because it was that exercise that Josh Coates made us go through about, like, okay, if it was worth $100, if it was worth like $10, or if you added a zero to it, if it was worth $100, or if you added another zero to it, it was worth 10,000, or another zero, it was worth 100. Like, determine what makes it worth waking up early. You know, so like if you're saying, like for me, you know, yeah, I deal with time issues. Like I would, you know, technically, I mean, other than the classes I teach and having to get my kids to and from, my time constraints, I still have to wake up early in order to make things happen. Mostly because even though I don't have a job, a job that I have to be at from like 7A to 4P or 7A to 5P or 8A to 6P or whatever, my day, the nature of my day being broken up like it is, if I don't know what I'm going to do in that 1 hour and 30 minutes in the middle of A and B of my day, like when I actually do have the time, like have the moment where it's just me and whatever I need to accomplish, not like where I need to get my kid or what appointment I need to be a present for or what class I need to go teach in the middle of the day for somebody else. You know, if I don't know exactly what it is that I need to accomplish in that block of time, first of all, I'm not organized with if I'm not organized with my time, in other words, then I'm aimless. But even if I do know what I've determined I'm going to have done in that hour and a half or whatever that I know I have free on my calendar, you know, if I know, okay, you're going to make it home, you're going to shower, you're going to eat your salad, you're going to drink your shake, and you're going to sit down with you're going to open up the planner, and your planner says that by that time it's going to be around 12 o'clock. And so from 12 to 2, you're going to do these 3 things or this one thing from 12 to 2. And I could be super organized about that. But if I get home and I take my shower and I eat my salad and I drink my Shakeology and I sit down and it's 12:03 and I go, oh, I'm tired, I'd rather just lay down and take a nap. Or I'd much rather just watch the new season of Poldark on Netflix real quick. Or I'd much rather go have lunch with a friend. That would be so much more fun. Or I'd much rather just lay here with my cats. Like, I could do that. And in honesty, I do a lot and I catch myself falling into those behaviors more often than what I like. So I can still relate to Caroline Mucky saying, you know, in all honesty, did I do those things that she told me that I knew I needed to do? No, I didn't. Well, it doesn't go away, y'all, because it's human nature. It's like the same thing with anything, not just coaching. It's anything that we don't really feel like doing. We find a good distraction from it or something else that we would kind of rather do. And we will maybe even tell ourselves, like, I'll do it later. Or like we'll tell ourselves, like, just like the same excuses that we would make up for doing our workouts, not getting our workout done back when workouts were a struggle, right? Or like, I don't feel like eating a salad for lunch. I'll make myself eat a salad for dinner. And then what happens? You get to dinner time and you don't feel like doing the workout and you don't feel like eating the salad, you know? And so then you put it off again. And then you feel like a failure because you didn't do it. And I face the same thing. So if we don't know, like, what is worth, like, why am I doing it? Like, why, like, and remind ourselves of the why, not just knowing why, but reminding ourselves of the why in the moment that we don't feel like it, or we think, God, it's going to be hard to get it done because I'd much rather be doing these other things, or I have, you know, these other things in my life need to be done. But if I, you know, I know I need to be disciplined with this 2-hour block every Wednesday or whatever, then I need to, in that moment, in order to change my patterns, in order to change my habits of going in the opposite direction of where I want my life to go or where I want my business to go, I have to remind myself in the hard moment what makes it worth doing it, even though I don't feel like it, and even though it's uncomfortable, and even though it's inconvenient or whatever. And the things that I remind myself of to change that red light to a green light is has to be very personal to me. It has to be very personal to you. It has to be connected to whatever, like, gets you excited, you know. So I loved Rachel Hollis's exercise she made us do when she made us get up and jump around in the stadium. And she said, if you can't get yourself excited in this moment with all the lights and the music and 20,000 other people around you, then what are you going to do when you have to get yourself excited and it's just you and your computer screen, you know? And that's reality. So that was my big takeaway. It was like, okay, girlfriend, you know, you got out of that habit of reminding yourself. Some people call it purpose or passion or their mission or like whatever, but it's not like always just a real big idea. Sometimes if it is very physical, like I want an extra $200 a week, I want an extra $1,000 a week, what does the $1,000 mean? Because I can easily tell myself, oh, it's okay. I'll just, I don't really need the extra money. And that may be true. So it's not just about like what the money is for me. Like it's what will that money provide for me? Is that money going to provide something for my children that I want to gift to them or meet a need? Like some of us maybe could say, I'm good. I don't really need the extra money. So it's not an urgency in the sense that it's like, I need the extra money. I'm doing good without it. So it's easy to excuse it. So it has to be attached to an emotional thing, like the joy on my daughter's face when I buy the $200 thing that I made sure to make the $200 for. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so when I sit down at that 12:03 time and I go, oh, I'd much rather take a nap, and I have to say, okay, it's like the little bracelet that you put on and you snap your wrist with the bracelet, or like you snap your fingers, or you do the Rachel Hollis dance or whatever you do, and you bring the picture to your mind of the thing for your daughter that you really, really want. So when I'm like, I don't want to invite people because it's awkward and it's weird, and like, I got to go find 5 new people to talk to today and that's weird. That's weird for me.
It's weird for me.
It is, like I would much rather talk to people I already know. I don't want to start new conversations with people I don't know,
But I think the weirdness goes away when you realize, like you're picking on it, like what we're doing it for. But, everybody came here through a different journey, whether it was you found health yourself or, whatever it is. I think you share that. And as you evolve over time, it changes. And I think that was another takeaway that I had is I have been for a while, being a fitness instructor like you are for a long time and already being fit. I don't have this miraculous story, but I am now part of an empire of women that are cancer survivors that are struggling with life now in this new world. And what does that look like to us, and how can I help them? And so you find your purpose, and it evolves over time as you evolve. And I think that was another good thing to hear from the folks that we heard at Summit, and then of course talking to Rachel Hollis this last week. And I would say for anybody that's struggling to find the why, which I've been struggling for the last year, I've been following and doing the things, and I didn't know what the things meant or what they were. But it's Building Your Empire by, I forget his first name, Carruthers, is a really good start to finish as to what your why, what the pieces are that you can do to build an entrepreneur business. And I think that was very helpful for me to also listen to and hear over this last month. I've listened to it now a second time, and I'm like, oh, okay, I get it, why we do those birthday invite or those birthday acknowledgement things, or why we do this or that or that. And then he also narrows it down to the income producing activities and the things that you absolutely have to do. And I think that was really nice to hear as well.
Yeah, and I think it's super important. I know you've heard each of us say things about like income producing activities, business activities, or whatever. I think it's super important to recognize when we're saying recognize what you're doing it for and why and everything. Maybe money isn't the why for you at all, and that's okay. And to own that, and to also, give yourself, know that, it doesn't, you are entitled, and it's good to extend grace to yourself in the seasons that your business maybe looks different and you're not like, it doesn't look like the next girl's, because it's not meant to be. It needs to be where you're at in the season of life that you're living. It needs to make sense to your story and what you have envisioned for what you want to come out of your business. What does coaching mean to you? And I love that was something that they talked about, that, is kind of like, okay, give yourself permission to be where you're at, and not feel like my cat is like chasing paper around. Not feeling like you have to be somewhere else other than where you are, as long as you're happy with that. But if you're discontent with where your business is or where your life is, then okay, recognize it, own it, and decide what you're going to do about it. What are you willing to do about it? And, I thought that was powerful.
Yeah.
So
I just wanted to say thanks for everything.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think we're done and we're like right at that 1 hour mark. So I was gonna end it either way because we started recording like I think right at 55 minutes ago. So unless anybody has like something really pressing that you want to ask or say, I'm gonna tell everyone thank you for being on. Anybody? Nope. Are we good? So thank you everybody for being on, and I'm going to go ahead and end tonight's team call. We're going to, like I said, follow up with things in the team pages, I'm sure. So ask your questions if you're watching the recording, and we'll be sure to follow up. And I know that Janice has lots to share, so she'll do that on another night, okay? So good night. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Caroline, and thank you, Melissa.
Safe travels and have fun.
Thank you. Y'all have a great night.
Okay, you too.
And register for Summit 2020,
Yes.
people.